To make the background for my painting, I am starting with a 10-inch hex canvas. I have painted the sides black just so that they're completely covered. And I'm going to be using a piece of my loom. This is the hex piece of my loom to do this kind of like an open cup pour, but these little spindles right around here, these little teeth like a comb, the paint's just going to go out because I want a center point. If you've never seen this, I have used these in some of my other videos. This is a flower loom, and it is a loom. It is not a pour painting tool, but you can get these, and they have the round ones, the square ones, little and big, and you can use them as a type of open cup pour. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to lay down some black to start here. Okay, then I'm going to put in my hex loom right in the center. I'm going to try to center it up with my actual sides there. I have some custom mixed purple and pink, and these actually have chameleon colors in them and a little bit of regular paint. The rest of these are colors you know. This is violet from Master's Touch, Prussian blue from Arteza, and then a mix of the two with a little bit of black, which makes a darker color. We're going to start with those colors and we're going to see what happens. It has been 24 hours and here is our dry painting. It is very dark, which is exactly what I wanted. So it also, you can see some cracking and crazing along here. It's actually where there was built up paint more than anything, but we are going to make that work for us. It's absolutely fine. It's interesting that the shape is very hexagonal from the loom itself. So we're going to make all these pieces work for us. This is the color of my original mock-up. I like that we have this very swirly little design in the middle that's actually going to work for us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play on this whole idea of a hex, and I'm going to be using this hex die cut, but you could use anything that's a shape of a hex. So I'm just going to be using that to draw my hexes. I've also got some paint brushes and some water over here. I also have some paints. I'm going to be using Folk Arts Metallic Violet Shimmer, and I'm also going to be using some Deco 24 karat gold. The other thing I'm going to be using is a Liquitex marker. This one is in iridescent antique gold. It's actually one of the best gold markers that I have ever found as far as actually looking gold and not yellow, so I'm going to give that a little bit of a shake. So what I'm going to do is make a pattern in the middle of it, and then I'm going to make it 3D. So I'm going to take my die cut, and this makes a really awesome die cut, and I've used it for some things like the bottom of my resin acrylic skin bowl. So if you haven't seen that video, check that one out. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay this down, and I am going to be doing some tracing work. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my paintbrush. This is a number 2. And while it's still wet, I am going to go ahead and fade my edges on the inside. Now I'm just going to repeat this process for all of my hexagons as I go around the center, and I'm just going to fit them together. Now what I'm going to do now is just use some of the Deco 24 karat gold. Just put a little in my cap, and I'm going to continue to add a little bit of sparkle, just very lightly, around the perimeter of my hexes. And I'm just going to take a paper towel. It's damp, if I can hold it here, and I'm just going to clean out the middle space. And I'm going to build my color around until I'm happy with it. I can always use a little bit of my marker to fill in, and I'm going to go back over the outlines when I'm done with this as well. and putting some highlights of gold, and I did add another gold. I tried to see which one. They're both deco art. This is metallic gold and the other one is 24 karat gold. One is a little more translucent than the other one. So when I'm kind of done with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some reflections. And yes, they are reflections. I'm going to make these more 3D. So I'm going to be using Folk Art's Metallic Violet Shimmer. Just going to take some of that. It's a very pretty color. I'm using a number 2 brush, and I'm going to be adding just a little bit of reflection. Now I'm still not done. What I'm going to do to the outside here, where I have all this cracking and creasing, is I'm going to be adding more gold. Okay, what I'm starting to do is add my gold into my cracks and crevices. I'm using a dry brush and my Extreme Sheen Deco Art 24 karat gold, and then I'm just going in circular motion into these little cracks. Now you could put gold leafing on this, but what I'm going to do right now is just do this and see if this is going to be enough. Around the edges of my hexes, I am just going to be using a purple mixed with black, just over here on the side, just acrylic paint, and I am going to be adding these shadows back behind my hexes all the way around. I'm also taking an Artistro black marker, and I'm going to go right along the edges. I'm just darkening it up so that it has a little bit more depth. Okay, so it looks pretty good, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit more depth. So I'm going to take my acrylic black marker, and I'm going to also go in right along my gold lines, just adding a little darkness and a little bit of depth. So inside the lines and outside of the lines. Then I'm just going to soften them up with a paintbrush while the paint is still wet, and that's just going to add a little bit of shadow. Okay, so the next part of it is exactly what you see here. We're going to add facets to this. We're going to make it look three-dimensional and give it a look of more of a jewel look. To facet these or make them look like they have facets, I'm just taking my little hex here and I'm lining it up with my edges, and then I am going to pull from the corners here. Now I could trace it. I'm not going to. I am actually just going to do this part of it because I'm going to need to keep this wet as I go. And I've got my paintbrush here so I can keep this wet. And what I'm going to do is every time that I draw a line, I'm just going to use my paintbrush to wet it and to make the lines not as noticeable. And I'm going to go all the way around. leaving that. So it's a little bit wide before it dries too much. I'm just going to soften these little spokes that I drew in there. And I'm going to go all the way around. And I'm just going to soften this with my brush. Now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add some white highlights. I've already started, but I'm going to go ahead and finish my white highlights and add a little bit of sparkle, and then I'll show you when it's done. Okay, I am done. This one has had a lot of steps, but it turned out pretty awesome, and it almost looks like a book cover of some type. But I really like it. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and you like this piece of art. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye now.